pajamas and jump.
No problem. Hello, all you beautiful, amazing people out there. It's Stevie Collier here, and welcome to the Fantasy Fiends podcast. I'm here with my co-host, the best-selling fantasy author, Andy Peliquin, and we are honored today to have Michael R. Baker, and we are going to be talking about his awesome book, The Thousand Scars. Go check out the book cover. Actually, go check out all of his book covers. They're super cool. He's got a really cool map on his Amazon page. And he is... You actually make them?
Yeah, I do make them.
That's pretty cool.
One of the few talents I have, but map making is one of them, apparently.
Hey, we're all nerdy here. I'm not going to lie, it's a nerdy talent, but it's an awesome talent. I wish I could. That's so ironic that we were talking about. I just got my first map done by somebody on Fiverr, but man, they did an amazing. It's not as good as yours. Should have came to you first. Yes.
Everyone always says that. Everyone always says that.
It's really nice. It looks very professional.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Andy, let's go ahead and talk about anything cool that happened this week. Fancy related or not.
Well, I went and watched the Black Panther.
Oh, don't tell me about it.
You know,
I haven't seen that yet.
It was super well done. It was probably one of the top 3 Marvel movies in terms of quality of the acting, of the writing, of the story. It wasn't like the Avengers was just straight balls to the wall, over the top fun. There was laughter, there was all of that. Black Panther is a much more intelligent movie. There's a lot of, there's the light humor, there's the great fight scenes, but then there's a lot of stuff about the culture of Africa and Afrofuturism, like we talked about with, what was her name?
Oh man, yeah, she had those long books too.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a really interesting thing, and it really got me thinking about the different culture. And one of the fascinating things, an article I read was that a lot of people, like white people in America and around the world, they're not seeing their faces in the movie screen. It's all African American or African actors, and it's a good thing, because by putting ourselves in front of the story and getting this information in the form of a story, it makes it easier for us to put ourselves in the places of these people who are spread around the world, who their culture is changed. It's adapted to the country where they live. It's been so adapted by everything else, but by putting it in the context of this fun story that everyone is interested in, it really makes you think about the sort of thing that these people have gone through. It's a really well done movie.
I love that. I always look forward to your breakdowns of Marvel movies, because you make them so much more intelligent when I'm just going to see some black dude in awesome armor kick some ass, so that and I look forward, because when you broke down Wonder Woman, it made the movie a lot better for me, because I was looking for things. So now I'm actually, when I watch this movie, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, and it's not just me like kid in the candy store, like, oh, he flipped over a car, so cool.
The scenes, the action scenes were good, but I would say they weren't even the best part of the movie for me. Just
really, that's good.
Just the storyline of the character of T'Challa, and then his interactions with Nakia and the general and his sister and his mother and the enemies and the allies, all of that was really the richest part of the movie. Obviously, Black Panther is a badass. Fight scenes were fun, but then like with fight scenes that are too athletic or gymnastic, it's almost like they're hard to follow. Whereas a car chase is straightforward. A sword fight is straightforward. Guns, you see the action. Whereas with these super fast martial arts scenes, it's almost too fast to see. So you lose a little bit of the fun. But then compare that to the story and the culture and all of these different things, it was a really well crafted movie.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, I talking to this girl, and I was just thinking, like, what movie should I ask her to go see? Because I was like, are there any good movies out? And I totally forgot about the Black Panther. So now I'm just gonna text her, like, hey, babe, Black Panther this Friday, you in? That's how I handle my texting to chicks.
That's how Stevie handles his business.
Yeah, my business. I really want to see people's reactions who have watched all 41 episodes. I wonder if they're curious how Stevie Collier talks to girls. You know, we should do like Facebook Live or something. The day in the life of the gnome and the day in the life of the giant.
That should be the next event.
That should. No, you're totally right.
That should be the next podcast.
Sorry, Michael. We haven't forgotten about you. And Michael,
it's fine. I'm drinking more coffee to get me through the evening, or the morning.
It's
half one where I am. So
you've been drinking out of like 2 mugs. So I see that one. It looks like a dinosaur with a top hat or a booger with the top hat. What is that?
Yeah, I got this from my girlfriend for Christmas. So
she seems pretty cool.
She's wonderful, and she knows the secret to a man's heart. It's dinosaurs.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of dinosaurs, my brother is a paleontologist, so I am loaded with them in this room.
Now that is cool.
It's a Carnotaurus. You can see all around the room. Look, he's got a collection. All that up there, dinosaurs. It's about $7,000 worth of dinosaur stuff.
You know,
it's
nice. For his next birthday or Christmas, you get him one of those inflatable dinosaur costumes.
We did that and Godzilla. He has a Jurassic Park one and Godzilla. So guess who wears it? Me. I'm the one who wears it. Also, so Michael, anything cool happened to you this week, or anything cool you want to talk about? It doesn't have to be fantasy related.
I've had a couple of things actually. The last couple of weeks, I've been bringing my cartography business back into it. I've had a couple more clients with some authors, so I've signed a couple of map deals with them. So it's kept me fed, and it gives me something new to do. I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is the latest massive big RPG in the fantasy sword genre. So I've been playing that. It's a hardcore medieval RPG similar to Elder Scrolls.
What's it called?
Kingdom Come Deliverance. It got kickstarted in 2013, I think.
Can you type that in the chat, please? I might know it.
Yeah, sure. It's Kingdom. It's got quite a lot of coverage.
Because I'm big into MMOs. I'm actually waiting.
Several reasons.
I forgot what the... Oh, wait.
I've never been too keen on MMOs. It's just... I tried playing World of Warcraft, but I realized I would rather live than play 10 hours a day playing Warcraft. There's too many games for me to do that. So I've been playing a bit of Kingdom Come, and it's an impressive RPG, despite there's some bugs and glitches and stuff with it at the moment. So.
This game looks awesome. I wish I had time.
It's good.
I tried playing one of these MMORPGs, and I could not do it. I don't like games that are just so open world. My kind of game is just the linear. You know, you go through the level and you kill all the bad guys, and you keep killing all the bad guys until you finish the level, and then that. Just that linear progression is so much easier for those
I have
games
a game,
that are just, open world. They're too chaotic for me because I'm a complete.
Yeah, the open world genre has been it's been quite saturated now. Every second game that comes out now is open world, so there's a lot of pressure on people to get it done right. And not that many games do it right. There's several out there. I mean, Elder Scrolls, despite all its problems and stuff, is still an amazing sandbox just to lose yourself in.
Yeah.
But I recommend Kingdom Come Deliverance just based on the fact it's like a true RPG, and it just feels amazing. It feels so immersive. It's got problems, but they'll get patched out. So,
and
I play an awful lot of them. So,
and you said there was something else cool that happened to you this week?
Well, the other one was besides the gaming, it was just the map commissions. I've had a couple more with some authors, and I'm just getting.
Oh, are you on Etsy or Fiverr or anything like that?
All my work is on Facebook, actually.
Oh, nice.
I was considering trying. I tried Fiverr a couple of years ago when I started out, but nothing ever came from it. But I do have a page. I've got my links. Yeah, I've got a ton of links ready down below. So
we should add that to the YouTube link.
Yeah, I've got loads. I've got loads of links. I've got links up here.
You came prepared. I'm always prepared, by the way. That's everybody who listens and watches the show knows Steve Player is prepared.
I do like the maps. I do all the maps and stuff for my Patreon as well. So I've got a ton of my Patreon work is just for snippets of the Counterbalance universe. So some people like reading that. So it's just nice to have it up there for people to read. I've got loads of content coming out for it. So.
And so mine real quick. I'm moving out of my apartment, so it's $960 a month that I am saving. So that's really nice.
Ooh,
I'm yeah. So I found an apartment that's $300 cheaper and double the square feet. I was like, this is a no-brainer. I'm doing this.
Shut up and take my money, basically.
Yeah. So I had to in
Nice
2
one.
days. I had to move all my stuff into storage, and man, I didn't know I owned so much garbage. Like, just, I think I have like 3 boxes just for Star Wars stuff, like posters and books. Like, my books were the biggest boxes. They were probably like 50 pounds each, and it was just a bat killer. So I did that all week.
I've been mass collecting like fantasy books. You can't really see, unfortunately, but I've picked up. I've got a first edition of Malice by John Gwynne hardback sitting on my shelf. I've got the entire Stephen Erickson set, which I've bought over the past year and stuff.
Oh,
So I collect games. There's loads of games consoles and stuff in the room. So
I've noticed that a lot of fantasy people tend to be big collectors. At least most of us. Andy, do you collect?
You know, I do collect some stuff, but not as much.
What is that?
It's my ringtone.
What is that?
It's Blackbird by Alter Bridge. It's just a song that's loud enough that I can hear, no matter what. And so I'm getting some random, telemarketer call right now.
That's funny. That's funny. So before I forget, because I always forget this, and I think it's very important, Michael, and this seems to be hard for a lot of authors, but Michael, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about The Thousand Scars, the Counterbalance book 1. Oh my God. Tell us about it.
Right. So no pressure on me then. Right.
Yeah, I know.
First of all, just a little bit about me. I'm 28.
Yeah, sorry.
I live in the UK. I am pretty high on coffee right now. It's 4:30 in the morning for me. So everyone else in the house is asleep, but it's fine. They'll just get through it. So the thousand scars / counterbalance have been building the world for about 10 years now. I didn't really take it seriously until like a few years ago. Then I got sort of like picked up by a small publisher, and it just snowballed from there. And the book finally launched like in December last year. So it's the end of it's the beginning of a 5-year journey basically, but it's finally out. Counterbalance. Wait, let me just grab my page. Here we go. No pressure. Here we go. We got it. So Counterbalance, it tells the story of a land in turmoil. It has 2 desperate superpowers battling for survival in a war over revenge, and it's got bloody battles and sieges. It's got vengeful necromancers. It tells the story of a young man searching for a new home, and it's got powerful conspiracies and manipulation behind the entire series.
Ooh, I love vengeful necromancy. That sounds good. That should be in your blurb. Is it? Is it in your blurb?
It should be. Yeah,
it should be. I love that vengeful necromancy.
It's like a step up from your regular, vanilla necromancy.
Well, yeah, I've got the blurb here if you want to read it. Well, if you want me to read it out.
Yeah, please.
Sure. Here we go. The greatest war since the time of ancient chaos has reached the Belian Empire. Within the Belian Council, a rogue faction unleashes an unthinkable dark magic to defeat its enemies. As the Empire loses ground, disgraced scholar and exile Tyrone Cecil is forced to go on the run. His only chance is with a band of cutthroat mercenaries, the Thousand Scars. Tyrone's new commander is the notorious and hated necromancer Tyra of Irene. Life for the Scars is hard, but Tyrone believes the necromancer can stop the Empire's forbidden sorcery. Tyra leads the Scars in a campaign of bloody vengeance, and they commit acts of horrific brutality, leading Tyrone to question the price he's willing to pay to survive. The Thousand Scars shall bleed the world, and they will save it.
So this is maybe light, more heroic fantasy. One of these light reads.
Well,
that is.
I wouldn't go that far. What I wanted to do with the Thousand Scars, Counterbalance as a whole, is like tell the story. I mean, Tyra of Irene I would say, is definitely a protagonist. He's someone I would say probably to root for in comparison to everyone else, but he's quite a nasty piece of work. So, as is the people who follow him. Well, I would say it is grimdark, yeah.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
just that blurb alone. The Thousand Scars will bleed the world. That's it reminded me of Death by a Thousand Cuts. That classic fantasy trope.
It's great for that sort of thing. Yeah.
Does the book cover have anything to do with the book? I see it's a fallen helm.
It is the idea which I had with my artists and stuff is we wanted the symbolism of a dying empire. The desert is like the decay of the empire, and then there's all the manipulation behind it as forces conspire to destroy everything. So that's the helmet represents both Tyrone's innocence and the empire's own legacy as it's slowly decaying.
That helmet in the sand, it really reminded me of the Ozymandias poem. Because like the thing is the two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Basically, it's just there's a head, a huge stone head lying in the sand, half buried, and it made me think of that. Look on me, look on my work, ye mighty in despair.
Well, one thing I wanted to do with Counterbalance was explore ancient military culture. So let's take the two largest factions in Counterbalance. The Balian Empire is a mixture of Roman military tactics, and I combined it with medieval, like the medieval feudal system. So it's a bit of a combination. So the feudal armies supplement the professional legion, and I've brought in like elements from Macedon. We have the phalanx in place. We have the longbow. We've got elephants. We have cavalry. We have Greek fire. That's all taking place in the book. So
I've got cool. I feel like
borrowed elements from pretty much everyone.
That's awesome. I feel like we should probably just read the snippet right now and get a taste for it because it does seem pretty exciting.
Thank you. Well, I've tried. I was trying to find a snippet for it, and I've told you my struggle with this. So I'm not amazing at narration, so let's go.
I know this is weird, but I was gonna say, just listening to your blurb, I can tell you are a heavy reader of fantasy and a gamer. Like I could just tell. I could just tell. Maybe even D&D. Do you play D&D?
No, but I've done like maps of people who play D&D. So
Okay.
I'm slightly aware of the rules. So
yeah. Let's definitely, I really want to dive into this.
So how are we gonna do this?
I'll do the narrator.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. There's quite a few characters being done here, so.
All righty.
I don't mind playing most of them.
I'm like listening to you, and I'm starting to like do this English accent. I'm starting to mirror it, and I'm just like I was like, all righty.
Cool. I don't know the accents myself, so we'll just piss about with it. It's all fine.
Andy's good at accents. He loves showing his English accent off to people who are actually from the United Kingdom. Don't you, Andy?
If anyone knows how to do a good Scottish accent, I think that'll suit Horse very well.
What kind of Scottish? Like the Highland Scottish or the Lowland Scottish?
Bit of Highland. A little bit of Highland.
Quick note, real quick, guys. I did get my Ancestry DNA thing back. It's like an $80 thing I got for Christmas, and I am 35% Irish and 41% Western Europe, France, and forgot the other one, but it makes sense because my last name is French, Collier, so it's Collier, which means necklace in French. I thought that was so cool. It's like I can actually say like, "Hey, kiss me on my." All right, I'll shut up.
Yes, that was probably one of the worst tangents to date.
But it was. I forgot. I was like, "Do I have anything cool to talk about for my week?" And I was like, "No, I'm a boring ass. Oh, excuse me, boring person." I forgot we can actually cuss on this show.
You should have run with that feeling, Stevie.
That what? If we were in person, I'd hurt you right now. I'm an abusive.
With no further ado, let's read. Michael, tell Stevie the name of the characters he's reading.
Yes, please.
Sorry, what was I gonna do? The characters you're reading, right? Let's go through. Who do I want to play? Who do I want to play as? I'll play Horse. I'll play Horse and Sleeper. You can go Tyrone, I think, and I don't know. Who should you play? There's a lot of characters in that snippet.
Why doesn't Michael? Why doesn't Stevie just do Tyrone, and then you can do the voices for the other ones?
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll do that. Let's give this a
because
go.
you know them and you can change the voices. Because I get
I need
confused
to,
with
yeah, that's cool. Tyrone's
Okay.
like a relatively young guy, so
He's
let's go for
young.
it.
Is he deep voice or is he like heroic or anything
But
strange?
I would say he's quite heroic and stuff. He's a likable character according to my readers, which is weird because I hate him.
Awesome. All right, here we
Okay.
go.
Let's do this.
Tyrone remembered his family with a pang and felt guilty for the first time in years. Alarmed, he quickened his pace. There were more people in the distance, some gambling, some training with swords, while others hacked down wood with axes. Great black longbows lay propped up against walls, some used by men taking aim at the distant trees, while others sharpened well-crafted blades on whetstones. They were mostly quiet, talking among themselves in mixed languages. Some Tyrone understood, either the common voice or North Mare from Classus. Many seemed to be from the south, a dialect Tyrone knew well. He caught a couple of snatches of Pyrrhon, though in a rough accent he couldn't understand. On they went, a small dirt path snaking through the village like a meandering river. Finally, they came to a halt near the center where a large fire burned. Around its perimeter, 4 cloaked figures squatted, kneeling before a hunched man in a cloak. His back was turned to them, but Tyrone heard his voice clearly as they approached.
Jax, take 20 men and scout out the path north of here. Kelsar, go with him.
He sounded familiar.
Search the path of the bodies. Bring them back to the village so I can raise them. They can serve as scouts when we march. Rapier's men should arrive soon, one of them replied. Old Jackal spotted their vanguard. Good. Sorry. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Oh god, that was not Tyrone. For anyone listening,
no. It's fine. Keep going. Good.
Tyrone heard the elder reply.
It's about time too. Was beginning to think he hadn't received my message. Would take some explaining. I know him too well. Do you want to play horse? I'll show you.
I didn't hear it, so I didn't know if you were read the
It's
sentence
cool.
again.
All right. It's about time too. Was beginning to think he hadn't received my message. Would take some explaining. I know him too well. Aye, he's coming. On his fucking elk, no doubt. The other... Oh, sorry. You did
The other
narration.
chuckled bracingly, a Pyrrhon. He was by far the largest of the group.
Still no word from the dog.
That last sentence was with some heat,
Makes no matter.
said the leader smoothly.
He'll join us soon enough. What matters right now is speed. Can we really trust him, horse?
A third.
The man's a demon in human skin. I wouldn't let him hear that, Kelzar.
Their leader laughed.
Go now. Take Jax with you. That's 100 Jax to you.
The man grumbled, rising to his feet. The Pyrrhon let out a booming bark of laughter.
Ha! Deeds matter, not names.
The leader turned around as 2 of the men nodded and got to their feet. His hood masked most of his face.
So,
His tone was soft.
it is good to see you on your feet, Tyrone.
Tyrone's stomach clenched. He tried to open his mouth, but his throat had gone parchment dry.
You caused quite a stir. Sleeper!
He called, and there was a steely menace to his voice then. He turned to the 4th shadow.
Remove your hood and stand up so that Tyrone can see you. You kind of need a roll. Do you want to play Sleeper?
who me?
Yeah. You haven't had much of a voice yet, so.
Oh, me? Do I
Yeah,
have? Okay. Do I have to?
The smallest of the 4 complained, lowering his hood. Tyrone recoiled the man at once. This is who did this to me. Tyrone recoiled. Sleeper had a youthful complexion, his skin smooth and unmarked from age, with thin blonde hair.
Your turn, Steve.
Oh.
It's your internal. Well,
Okay.
Yeah.
He's no older than I.
Regardless, every movement betrayed discipline and a cruelty beyond human.
Nothing to fear, Tyrone.
The man soothed as Sleeper turned to face him.
Although I must admit I did fear for your life. Even Sleeper was surprised you're still here, and he's the only man in my company whose talent for poison rivals my own. I guess I'm thankful he knows in as much about healing as he does of maiming.
With a swift movement, he lowered his hood, his twisted features thrown under the flickering of the warm fire. Tyre? No one could forget that face.
Now, Sleeper, at what point did I tell you to poison Tyrone?
Tyre looked even older than Tyrone last saw him. His face sagged, though every line was etched deeper.
I'm very particular with my orders. I said to take him and heal. Not once did I tell you that you need to kill the lad.
Sleeper shuffled his feet.
He came running at us, Paladin.
He looked away. The one called Horse snickered, clutching his mouth with a great sweaty hand.
Silence!
Sleeper snarled at him. His partner only laughed harder.
Oh, fuck off, Horse.
Tell me, Sleeper, how many men did you kill before you joined the Scars?
Tyre regarded him through a cold gaze, but his eyes sparkled with amusement. Tyrone was burning for answers, but only one mattered. What the hell was going on?
Come on.
Tyre encouraged Sleeper with a grin.
I'm giving you the chance to brag here. We don't hear that often. You might not, sir, but I fucking have to.
Horse put on an expression of mock horror, throwing up his hands.
Please don't give him this. I'll never hear the last of it.
400, 420, 487.
Sleeper replied, shooting Horse a malevolent glare.
Wait, do you mean just the past 2 years, or the whole life, or my whole life?
It doesn't matter.
Tyre replied through clipped tones.
Answer the question. What about the other bitch?
Horse chortled.
A few months ago? That makes it 488, although I'm sure you're lying, you little prick.
Horse sniggered, clapping him hard on the back. Sleeper bit back a retort. Tyre was watching him, tapping his foot.
Fine, I'll round it off and say 500. It makes it easier.
Exactly.
Tyre glared at him, and Sleeper's face flushed red.
I give you orders to take him with you, not to put him to the point of death. But if I knew a boy would frighten you, I would have put you on another task, like peeling vegetables, or would you like to tend to Rapier's elk?
Sleeper turned pale. Horse was roaring with laughter now, thumping the mud with his fist. Tyrone recognized them now, the men who had come to his cell. Sleeper's response was violent and quick, a dagger held tightly against the bigger man's throat.
Shh, is this me?
Yeah.
Yes, you.
Shut your mouth, Horse, unless you want to be choked with your own fucking intestines.
Coughing with mirth, Horse wrenched himself free and grinned at Tyrone.
Sorry, lad. Our friend here is a little unhinged.
He lumbered forward and seized Tyrone's hand, swallowing it in the depths of his own enormous paw.
It's good to see you awake. Anyone can survive this prick shenanigans as a friend of mine.
He grinned.
Name's Horse, my friend. Tyre mentioned you're Cecil.
Tyrone replied nervously, as he shook the dark-haired giant's hand, staring up into his wide, beaming face.
Good to meet you, lad. Or Tyrone, should I say. Where are my manners? Can't say I'm fond of the Cecils, but then I'm not fond of any from the Empire. Fucking Vandals, a lot of them. No offense to you, though.
He grinned insanely the whole while, not letting go of Tyrone's hand. And
we did pretty well we did pretty well there with like no practice.
Yeah. It's a lot of characters. That was a lot of fun. What were you gonna say, Andy?
No, I was just thinking. I love that back and forth banter of military. I mean, that's like one of the classic hallmarks of military in any fantasy, or even in modern things. There's this banter. There's sort of this one-upsmanship between soldiers.
Yeah.
It's so much fun to read when it's done right.
It's hard to write. It's stuff like that is hard to write.
I would say one of the biggest advantages the Thousand Scars has is probably just the experience. They've all been working together for a long time, so they know how to get along with each other. They know how to work together. They may threaten to kill each other quite often, but they do know how to work together. Tyre keeps them together.
That witty back and forth reminded me a lot of Joe Abercrombie's, I believe it was, The Heroes. It had that same.
I haven't watched that yet. I haven't read that yet, but I do plan to.
Like if you're writing military stuff,
one of my reviewers did say there was a bit of Abercrombie in the characters, so that did make me feel a bit good.
Yeah. So. That was awesome.
You know, Yeah, I think I was wondering what it reminded me of. I was at first thinking though that the dynamics might be more like Game of Thrones since there were so many characters in one scene.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters in this series.
So okay, so because that is
they,
really hard to keep
they
up
come
with.
out quickly. So I mean, there's a codex at the back of the book, so there's like a list of characters and stuff. So
there
you
you
should
go.
hopefully be able to keep up with them.
I thought I was getting like a hint of that because I read the first Game of Thrones book and I was just like, holy crap, this guy probably has a huge book somewhere where he had all his notes.
Yeah, something like 2,500 characters in the series. I think I've read something like that. It's insane.
Wow,
2,500 named characters, and most of them have some kind of speaking part.
Did y'all hear about that where he got kicked out of his own publishing house because I didn't think that was he was really George R.R. Martin. He wasn't like allowed in. I love that because he doesn't dress up all fancy or whatever, you know.
Or probably they just haven't seen him for like 10 years. So
yeah, probably
there's that too.
I hear he's writing again too.
Well,
he's writing a bunch of different things.
He is.
He needs to hurry up and finish Winter Winter.
He's got other stuff, like he's got the whole wild card books. He's also one of the writers for the Game of Thrones TV show. I don't know how much he's playing a role in the Game of Thrones spin-off shows, but he's definitely involved to some extent. Then he's got his own publishing stuff. He's got some new scholarship program that he's organizing. Like, he is super busy. And all of this is taking him away from Winds of Winter. Obviously, he is working at Winds of Winter, but
I'm probably one of the opposite people. I'm not amazingly keen on the show. So anybody who like knows me, I've been known for explaining in great detail why I'm not amazingly keen on the show. But I do appreciate what they've done with it. So at least they might have an ending. So
my thing is with Game of Thrones, it's hard for me to watch because I feel like I get heartbroken each episode. So I get really attached, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I won't lie. There's a bit of that with Counterbalance. So yeah, I'm going through book 2 at the moment, and there's an awful lot of rewriting, and there's some pretty big shocks in book 2 coming. So
really,
it should be exciting enough.
Nice.
There's a lot of shocks in book 2.
So I'm gonna take it back, and I'm going to say we today are going to be talking about tools of manipulation. Can't talk today, and it's going to be our big 50 Shades of Grey episode. Andy, take it away. How do you use tools in the bedroom? Because we're manipulating women or whatever, however that works. When I've never read 50 Shades of Grey. Well, I am.
Yeah, we'll save that for the After Day special. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Fantasy Fiends podcast After Dark. This is
After
the
Dark
friendly episode.
All right, tools of
calm and vanilla.
Exactly. Yeah, we're PG maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, we're talking psychological manipulation. Psychological manipulation is basically things that you can do to change the behavior or the perception of others, and is used. Use underhanded, abusive, deceptive, devious, exploitative, these different tactics. And so there's a lot of tools that people can use to manipulate others. And Michael, we came up with this suggestion because you were talking about how one of the themes in your thing is that basically the characters are being lied to manipulate them to do what they need to do, right?
Yes. Counterbalance is full of that. It's not just, I mean, a lot of, like, obviously there's in fantasy you get protagonists, you get evil sides, you get all sorts of that. In this, there's like not really, like, there's good sides, but there's an awful lot of evil side. Well, we'll say evil is a great term, but an awful lot of this manipulation. There's manipulation onto what started the war between the Empire and the Dominion. There's manipulation into what's driving the Vengeful Council into creating this powerful dark magic. There's manipulation on who's commanding who. There's manipulation on how Tyre is with Tyrone. Like, there's that throughout the entire series, and there's countless ways to do it as well.
Right. So like obviously when you think about manipulation, the most common one is just lying, just straight up lying to someone's face and saying this is what it is, and then it turns out to be something else. That's a common one. But then there's so many different things. And so I did a couple of minutes of research as usual, and I found this thing, these 8 tools, and it's just about narcissistic people, but it can be used, by anyone. And so one of them is shaming in public and in private, basically putting someone down. By putting someone down, you are sort of exercising a sort of emotional control over them. And by emotionally controlling them, you have the ability to shape their decisions in the future. You gain control over them and can manipulate them. People who are manipulative, their thing is to control everything. They'll often turn the conversation back to themselves, no matter what you're talking about. Like if you're talking about something that's interesting to you, they will almost make you feel bad for talking about that thing that's interesting to you if it's not interesting to them, and they will immediately take the conversation back to themselves.
Who the heck does that? It's so evident what you're doing. It's like you have social issues or something.
It is and it isn't.
It's surprisingly common, unfortunately.
What? Okay, I need an example because I would call like BS. Like if I was in person and someone was like doing this stuff, I'm so aware of that. I'd be like, "What are you doing? What? Give me an example." Maybe I wouldn't. If does anyone have an example?
Like let's say we're sitting around having a beer, right? Talking about book stuff. And no matter what you say, I always bring it back to my books, my stories, my things.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't call BS out on that because that would just be rude, but
it's rude, but it can be subtle. And then if people do it enough for long enough, you sort of get used to it. You get used to them making it all about themselves again. Everything you say, it goes back to them.
You see, I don't have a brain filter, so if I see people do that, I just call them out on their shit. I get, obviously, I mean, me and Andy, I'm sure we get involved in a lot of writing communities as well. I think we've both dealt with that. Like usually it's like I'm happy to talk about other people's books. I'm always happy to do that. Always happy to help as well, but it's kind of a case of give and take. So I've got a nice friend. He's writing, he's honest, he does what he can, but he talks about his books an awful lot and stuff. And it's sort of like I don't really do writing partnerships much, but it's not manipulation at all. I know he doesn't mean it, but it's like speaking on that is that it constantly bounces back to his books.
Yeah,
to his work, and yet when you're trying to say anything, he's sort of like the other way around. So
I'm a big person on give more than you will receive, and then that will build up. And Andy knows I'm a positive thinker. I believe that if you give your service more than what you're owed, that money will be attracted to you. So I will always try. Like when I came to Andy to start this show, I want and still do want to give Andy more than he gives me. And I still live up by that. And Andy and I have just, Andy and I never do that manipulation thing we just talked about where Andy's like, well, look at my book. And I was like, no, Andy, look at my book. Look at my book.
Yeah. One thing that's happened, and it's not someone manipulating me, but it's like for about 3 years now, this person who she messages me on my social media or, and
what?
And she has only ever talked about her book or the things that she finds interesting. And so she'll send me a message, oh, something happened in the book, something happened in the story, or this is the progress. And it's like, yeah, I haven't talked to you in 6 months. You haven't asked about how my stuff is going, and you're just dropping this on me. Like all of a sudden I'm supposed to care. And it's something that they're probably doing without thinking about it, because that's sort of the way the internet is. You've built these artificial relationships with other people. But like when I reach out to people, or when I need to ask for help or something, it's always like, hey, is there something I can do to help you? And then, hey, maybe we can do an exchange. Like it's not a one-way thing. And that's one of the things that are common with people who are manipulative, is that it's always one way, even though it could be concealed. It may be cleverly hidden as, oh, so how was your day? And then you say, oh, my day was rough. Oh my God, I had the worst day too.
Oh,
and all of a sudden, asking about them becomes all about you. And that's just a classic, it's one of the simplest things that so many of us do. And it's something that I've had to consciously stop doing when when I talk with my wife or her the extended family, is not bringing it back to myself or my challenges. But
Andy, let's bring it back to me, please. I was gonna say, At first I thought I had never seen this before, but now that you two have explained it to me much better, like I was in this relationship with somebody. I'm not going to say who it was or anything like that, but this was a really ugly thing this person said to me, and I would always ask this person, you know, how their day went, what they did, and I'd get this big story, right? And I'd listen, and I was a good listener. Oh, go on. I never tried to fix the issues. I just listened, right? And one day I was just like, you know, and whenever it was my turn to talk, I would talk about my books, you know, and I'd be like, well, this is what I'm doing with my career. One day we went through this, you know, the thing where we talk about each other's days, and we got in a fight that day. And the thing that person said to me was, I talk too much about my books. And I was like, you do realize that's my career, right? You know, like I could say you talk too much about what you're doing. And that's what this reminded me of. It's a little different, but it in that relationship that I had with this person, it always got turned back on that person. And it hurts your feelings. It hurts your feelings like you're not important.
It's belittling. Basically, you're saying, I'm more important than you, and that goes back to step one. You are belittling. You are putting someone down in public or in private. You are making them feel less important, and that is classic manipulation.
Did we have any other forms of manipulation?
Oh, there's tons.
I have. I don't know how long.
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Let me speak. Yeah, because I don't know if my internet is working much at the moment, so I'll quickly say so. I've also found like manipulation and psychological warfare has also been vital. You've seen it constantly throughout history and stuff. I mean, for example, Persia used cats against the Egyptians because of their religion.
Oh, I did not know that.
That's
like they use like Alexander the Great. I mean, this has been done by countless empires and stuff. The Iberian Empire has done this as well. They recruit local elites into the culture, and they leave them behind, and then they're there to oppress dissident like people who are against the new rule. So it's more manipulation, just more covert throughout that. So you can take the manipulation like every single like form of life, to be honest.
Can you explain the cats thing in more detail?
Well, the Egyptians, the Egyptians' religious belief was cats are the guardians of the underworld, so they never harmed them.
Yeah.
So the Persians knew that, and they utilized cats against them as a weapon.
It's sort of like using cows against the Hindus. Like imagine if you were chopping up cow carcasses and flinging them with the catapults into an Indian. It would just be like it would be using their religion or their culture against them. And that's actually one thing that I really enjoyed about the Black Panther is that one of the characters in it is very manipulative in a very specific way, and it was something that I have never seen done this effectively in a movie or in a TV show before. And it really made the character and just the conflict so much more interesting. So when you go watch it, Stevie, be thinking about our conversation today, and you'll see how this one character really uses the manipulative techniques really cleverly.
That's really interesting. And we are talking about this psychological warfare. And I learned today that humans, the reason why we get so upset about our political beliefs and our religious beliefs is because they're ingrained in us since we're children. So to tell us that is wrong, it really hurts us. So it just lets me know, hey, when they're hurting these cats or whatever, or they're, if we're launching cows into wherever into
crowds of Hindus.
It would really crowds. First of all, it would hurt them because those damn things are heavy. But anyway, it would really hurt them on a very psychological.
I mean, as a rule of thumb, I always separate politics from anything I write. I mean, the only politics I'm usually interested in listening to is fantasy politics. Otherwise, I just can't get involved in that because everyone believes they're right, and it just becomes toxic, and I can't stand that.
Well, I don't listen to anything politics. I don't even watch the news because I really feel like there's political efficacy, and for a reason. I feel like I can't make a change. I know that's the wrong way of thinking, but I feel like I get drained, and if there's not one issue, then there's another issue that I should be on. I would never get any work done. So,
I mean, another thing about manipulation is it's the effects of it as well. It often leads to desperation, and it becomes a devastating snowball effect. So manipulation over time creates psychological damage, which basically means you're easy to be manipulated, and it's just a constant cycle from that point.
Exactly.
It's not just the techniques as well; it's also how much damage it does.
You become more vulnerable to it. You're sort of broken
Like the
down
thousand.
psychologically.
I mean, in the Thousand Scars, one of my characters, who's quite an important character, I won't name him because it's kind of like spoilers for the series,
Okay,
but he's been like for years he's been manipulated. He doesn't even know he's being manipulated, but because of the damage of what's happened to his past and what he believes he's responsible for, it's just the constant damage. And by this point, he's so desperate to try and make a difference that he's willing to listen to any solution, no matter how broken it sounds. So,
you know,
and these, and
I'm
when
sorry,
you
go
take
on.
an entire, yeah, and when you take an entire nation who's got that, who's suffered so much that they're willing to do anything to get back to it, that's when it leads to some of the worst atrocities in history. So
Yeah.
When I think manipulation, I read this book that was super interesting. Have you guys ever heard of the man called Mystery? And the way he's a professional pickup artist for women. And I was reading it and I was just like, wow, this guy is manipulating women. He knew female psychology so much that he could get any girl he wanted to. And it was so sleazy, in my opinion. A lot of guys look up to this guy, but I don't, because I feel like he was not genuine. He was not himself, but he manipulated these girls to coming home with him. He would, like little tricks, like he would make them happy and then he'd make them sad. And then he'd make them feel like he didn't want them. And then he'd make them happy again. He would play with their emotions and then he would take them home.
I would like to introduce that guy to some of my Thousand Scars.
Yeah. It's
give them 5 minutes with them, and I won't say stuff.
You guys seem pretty badass.
We're not past the watershed yet.
Yeah.
But there are things that they would do to them.
All right, I'm just going to read a couple of the other tools real fast. I'm going to bring it back around to me, the things I want to talk about, because that's what's most important.
Yeah, of course you are.
Okay, one of the classic tools is being charming. They're charming at the start of their relationship. It's something you see often in abusive relationships where the guy or the girl is super charming and they sweep their the partner off their feet and everything is perfect until it's not, and it always goes downhill. But one of the classic signs of someone who's abusive or domineering is that they are very charming.
What? Okay, well, that makes me feel scared. Like I'm back on the market, and I don't want that. So what if this?
It's not like all charming people become abusive or manipulative. It is just that one of the classic tools of manipulation is using your charm, to sort of sweep someone off their feet, and then you sort of abuse them or you emotionally manipulate them over time.
Because I'm a pretty charming dude, I hope no
manipulative or abusive.
I promise not to be. I don't think that's something I want to do. Definitely not. That's interesting. That reminds me of a sociopath too. Like they take on a persona and they trick you.
Yeah, or narcissists. A lot of manipulative people are very narcissistic. Another classic tool that narcissists and manipulative people use is they play the victim. No matter what happens, they are always the victim. If they do something wrong, it's your fault, and you should apologize for what they did. Like that's one of the classic things, is that no matter what happens, they are the victims and you are the one to blame, or people are the one to blame. Everyone else is to blame except them.
I knew this person. Their cat destroyed my couch. Like, it's ruined. Like, I looked at the back of it today because I was moving the freaking heavy thing, and it's just ruined. And I told this person about the cat, and they're like, well, you should have bought cardboard to staple to the back of it. And I was like, what? Yeah, you're right. Exactly. I should have done that. I should have done that.
It's your fault.
Yeah, it was my fault. The cat ruined it. Yeah.
Gaslighting, I use that as the word of the day.
What is it?
Gaslighting is gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
It's a form of manipulation that sows seeds of doubt in an individual or members of a group, but that make them question their own memory, perception, and sanity. You use denial, misdirection, contradiction, and basically straight up lies to make them question, did I actually say that? Is that what I meant? Is that what I thought? Is this how I feel? And it's basically taking someone and psychologically hollowing them out making them question everything that they think, their identity, everything they believe, and basically just shattering them psychologically. It is an absolutely terrifying thing.
That is terrible.
Absolutely.
You're making Michael and me not want to go outside again. Michael and
no, it's fine. It's fine. I can chill with that. It's fine.
Yeah, I want friends like that. Andy, Michael, I'm the one who wrote all the books that y'all published, so just go ahead and send those manuscripts to me. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Seeds of doubt have been planted.
So you're the one to blame for all the shitty writing in my books, huh, Stevie?
Yep, that's it. That's me. I wrote all those scenes.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are actually totally out of time. We started early, so we got to end early. Michael, why don't you tell us tell our viewers / listeners where they can find more about you and your books?
Righty. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Amazon. I've got my author page, which is just double check. It's called author Michael R Baker, and not author. I have a Patreon page, which is Andrew38. So if you want to check it out, there's loads of snippets and stuff about the world building, and there's like short stories, character interviews, and all that. There's signed map prints on it. So if anyone wants to go and check it out, it's cool. There's a lot of free content available. I've got a Twitter as well. Check me out on the Thousand Scar. I've given all the information to Andy and Steve, so
yes.
they can do the full pimping.
Awesome.
So,
and I just got your ad on Facebook. Thank you. I love your cover, Facebook. I need to get a Facebook cover done.
thanks.
Yes. Well, Michael, thank you so much for being on the show, dude. We got to get you on again because I feel like we just didn't have enough time to pick your brain. This was a really fascinating topic, and I'd love to get you back on.
I'm definitely coming up again, and I'm probably gonna be bedridden today, like later on today. But never mind.
Sorry about that.
I have ME, so it's not amazingly easy at times.
Well,
so
let us know when your next book is out, and we're pretty booked in advance.
We are booked all the way until the end of November.
Oh my gosh!
All right. Wow. All right.
I quit.
I'll grab a December then.
Yeah.
As for book 2, maybe about 3 years. Maybe I don't know.
Oh
depends how many times I decide to rewrite book 2.
Perfectionist.
The writer's
it's not that. It's just that I've got no idea what I'm doing. So.
Isn't that's all of us though? I mean,
that's true.
Fake it till you make it, right? I live by that, and that's how everybody becomes successful.
As I said, it's like nearly 2:30, and I should probably go to bed, but at the same time, I'm full of coffee.
Yeah,
and I don't feel tired. So
play some that RPG. Andy, exactly. Who do we have on next week?
Next week we have on Christopher Eichenauer, I believe his name is. It's a very complicated name that I will probably butcher, but It's going to be an awesome show.
Awesome. All right. I want to thank everybody for watching the show. Michael, thanks so much for being on the air with us. It was a complete honor. Dude, you're fascinating. I want you back on, so make sure you contact us again.
I will do. I'll probably I'll be like spamming you for the next few days, so it's all fine.
Yes, you can be our groupie, please.
I'll be pulling off my charms. So.
Well, we hope you get some sleep tonight, and we hope you don't. Your day's not ruined tomorrow.
I'm wearing a jumper and pajamas, and I've been like completely cooked up on coffee after being out all day. So,
and I'm wearing no pants, so it's all right. Okay, I'm gonna end the show.
It's how true authors work.
Before I stand up and scar everybody, smash that like button, leave us a review on iTunes. Remember that everyone here, Michael, me, Andy, we love you guys. You are amazing. Go read all of our books. You will not be dissatisfied. I love you all. Good night. Have a fantastic
night, my friends.